Welcome back, it's Fox at FoxyGames_UK with another video. Subscribe to the channel and follow via Twitter for your source of aggregate news, rumour and video game discussion with an emphasis on PlayStation, spanning a variety of platforms. New to the channel, let us know how you found us and please remember to thumbs up if you like the video. All views expressed in our videos are those of third parties and do not necessarily represent the views of Foxy Games UK, and all relevant links can be found in this video's description. So that's the formalities out of the way, let's get straight into it. So it's God of War Fever. My goodness, what a cracking game. Seems I'm not the only one who thinks so. Microsoft exec Mike Ybarra has inadvertently whipped up a storm of controversy when he showed his support for great games, namely God of War, pushing back on criticism that as an Xbox really direct competitor to Sony, Ybarra should not be promoting Sony's most recent PS4 exclusive via Microsoft's own streaming platform, Mixer. Ybarra pushed back when outraged Xbox fans accused Ybarra of not representing Xbox. Ybarra fired back, and I quote, "No, I represent the gamers." Here's the full story. So much of the core gaming community is more than aware of the rivalry between fans of Xbox and PlayStation, and it's one that really gets better in terms of a healthy discourse. Perhaps they can learn a thing or two from the developers of these consoles, as they often show support for their rival console. This was exemplified in some recent tweets by Mike Ybarra, corporate vice president of gaming at Microsoft. Ybarra had initially posted a poll asking his followers which of the 3 games he should stream via Mixer, and one of them was God of War. In response to this tweet, one user questioned him and reminded him that he was a competitor and even accused him of weak leadership. Fanboyism among gamers is nothing new, but Mike Ybarra handled the situation perfectly by responding that he is a gamer. It's certainly nice to see when people put aside their rivalries for their love of games, which is exactly what happened here. Now, Mike Ybarra is not the first high-profile exec ready to outwardly praise Sony's first-party efforts. Xbox head Phil Spencer has showered praise on other platform holders' games, Nintendo and Sony, so this really shouldn't come as a shock to anyone. Perhaps God of War will motivate Microsoft into releasing their own blockbuster masterpiece for the Xbox One platforms. Time, as always, will tell, but let us know your thoughts and opinion on this news story in the video comments. And sticking with God of War for the time being, God of War's UK launch is the biggest in the series' history, and Amazon reportedly having issues fulfilling orders, as such as the demand for the game. It wasn't just God of War that grabbed headlines though. Sega's PS4 exclusive Yakuza 6 launched to a great reception as well, climbing to the charts and moving units, which is a first for what many consider a very pretty but also niche game. Here's the full story. God of War on PS4 is the fastest selling title in franchise history, and this is box sales only. It has sold over 35% more physical units in its first week than the previous best, that's 2010's God of War 3, and it has already overtaken the previous major Sony exclusive this year, Shadow of the Colossus. The result is that the game is easily this week's #1, matching the success of God of War 2 and 3 and knocking Far Cry 5 down to #2. Ubisoft's game had been #1 for 3 weeks solid and remains the biggest launch of the year so far. Of course, Far Cry 5 is available on other platforms, PS4 and Xbox One as well as PC. And God of War's success in the UK is despite it being absent on the Amazon UK store pre-launch. The data here does not include digital sales of the game. It isn't the only success this week though. The new Yakuza title, Yakuza 6 Song of Life, arrived on PS4 and debuts at #3. It is the biggest launch for a Yakuza game yet, and it beat the previous best, 2017's Yakuza Kiwami, by 300 units. Now, the 2 new titles helped lift the market this week with almost 250,000 games sold over the last 7 days. However, it doesn't take much to get into the physical charts at the moment. Fewer than 1,000 games sold will guarantee you a place in the charts, with even Mario Kart 7 finding its way back in at the top 40 at #40. Now, there are 6 exclusive games in the top 10 this week. The 2 aforementioned PS4 games, Mario Kart 8 at #5 and Super Mario Odyssey at #6, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at #9 on Switch, and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds PUBG is at #8 on Xbox One. Sea of Thieves, another Xbox One exclusive, sits at #11. And here are the charts. At #10, Grand Theft Auto 5. At #9, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. At #8, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. At #7, Fallout 4. At #6, Super Mario Odyssey. At number 5, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. At number 4, FIFA 18. At number 3, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. At number 2, Far Cry 5. And a new entry this week at number 1, God of War. And it's well done to Sony Studio Santa Monica, and of course all of the gamers who support great exclusives, particularly when they're of such high quality like God of War. And in our final news segment, now don't get too excited just yet, but word on the street is Sega has announced a new console is in development, and everyone believes it's the return to the console market with a potential Dreamcast 2. Here's the full story. Released back in 1998, the Dreamcast was the last attempt of Sega to survive in the gaming console market that at the time was dominated by Sony thanks to the overwhelming success of the first PlayStation. Even though in Japan the Dreamcast didn't seem to gather a lot of attention, the latest Sega console was really appreciated in the USA, where more than 500,000 units were sold in less than 2 weeks, with amazing exclusive games like Sonic Adventure, Crazy Taxi, Power Stone, Jet Grind Radio, and of course the Shenmue series. The Dreamcast was a really competitive console with a power of 128-bit and a modem 56K for online gaming. It was absolutely ahead of its time. Unfortunately, the heavy financial losses Sega faced with the Saturn and the arrival of PS2 put the Japanese video game console company out of gaming business in 2001, but that's not the end of the story. Just a few days ago, Sega announced that it will soon release the Sega Mega Drive Mini this year, and really surprising everyone, they also announced the intention to come back producing a next generation gaming console. This declaration has generated a lot of hype as well as a lot of skepticism among gamers, of course. Entering into a market with a new gaming console for Sega will surely be a really hard challenge, considering that its rivals Sony and Nintendo are quite strong right now, but at Sega they know the harsh reality of video games and the business also firsthand, and we are pretty sure that Sega must have 1 or 2 really good reasons to make such a bold move. Now a Dreamcast 2 would be a bless really for all Sega fans that have waited for this moment for a very long time now. And for the skeptic people out there, we remind you that Sega's video games development department is still alive and confirmed that this year they will release brand new titles in the House of Dead Scarlet Dawn series, and you can see the amazing trailer of the game linked below. In fact, I've linked the article so both game trailer and Sega Dreamcast 2 concept images are available for your perusal. Now do remember, this is a rumor. For all we know, it could be an Atari box type system that plays Sega classics and has limited power. Fingers crossed Sega makes a grand return to the console market and update their incredible back catalogue for today's modern gamer. But what do you think? Dreamcast 2, Yakuza 6, and God of War's amazing chart debuts and incredible review scores. Like me, are you also enjoying the hell out of God of War? And is it Game of the Year material, as suggested by so many? Let us know in the comments, because that unfortunately brings us to the end of another video. Now let's continue the discussion in the video comments. And for more PS4, Nintendo Switch and Xbox One coverage, subscribe to Foxy Games UK. If you found any of the information in this video at all useful, why not hit the like button and help us reach more like-minded gamers simply by sharing this video. And for just $1, £1 UK, or equivalent, become a member by joining the Foxy Games UK Patreon and help us grow. You can find the link in this video's description. Thanks for your kind support. And so there we have it. I'm back to playing God of War on PS4 Pro in 4K with the most lush visuals I've ever seen in my entire gaming life. But until next time, always remember, play games, not corporations. Thanks for watching, everybody.